If you've ever felt like you're living on a different frequency than everyone around you, this might be why. And no, it's not because you're better than them. Some people with high IQs don't just think faster, they feel different. They walk into a room and sense they don't quite fit. Conversations feel shallow, small talk feels painful. It's like being the only person who sees the extra layer in everything. In this video, we're going to break down why that happens. Not in a "you're special" way, but in a real, psychological way. And by the end, you'll understand whether this difference is a gift, a curse, or something in between. The hidden side of high IQ. First, let's clear something up. IQ is just a measure of certain thinking skills: logic, pattern recognition, memory, processing speed. That's it. It doesn't measure kindness, it doesn't measure wisdom, and it definitely doesn't measure happiness. But research does show that people with very high IQs, usually 130 and above, tend to experience the world differently. One reason is simple. Their brain processes more information more deeply and more often. Imagine your mind like a computer with 50 tabs open at once. While someone else is listening to a story, you're listening, analyzing, predicting what's next, connecting it to something you read 3 years ago, and questioning the logic behind it. That constant mental activity creates distance, not because you want it to, but because your brain won't turn off. Overthinking everything. High IQ individuals often overthink. And I don't mean thinking a lot. I mean replaying conversations in your head at 2 a.m., wondering if you said something weird, thinking about 5 possible futures from one small decision. Studies on gifted adults show they score higher in traits like openness to experience and sometimes neuroticism, which basically means they think deeply and feel deeply. And that combination is intense. It's like having a sports car engine in your head, but no brakes. Feeling out of sync socially. Here's something people don't talk about enough. The average person has an IQ around 100. When you move 2 standard deviations above that, around 130, you're statistically rare. That means the way you connect ideas, joke, argue, or even get excited about random topics may not match most people around you. You might get bored in conversations quickly, feel frustrated explaining obvious things, prefer being alone over shallow socializing, feel like people misunderstand your intentions. It's not arrogance, it's mismatch. Think of it like being a fast runner in a group jog. If you run at your natural speed, you leave everyone behind. If you slow down, you feel restricted. So you're stuck, adjusting all the time. That constant adjustment is exhausting. The loneliness paradox. Here's the strange part. A large study published in the British Journal of Psychology found that highly intelligent people reported lower life satisfaction when they socialized more often. Why? Because deep thinkers often prefer meaningful one-on-one conversations over big groups. Too much noise, too much surface-level talk, and they feel drained instead of energized. So while most people feel happier being around others, high IQ individuals sometimes feel better alone. But here's the problem. The real challenge. Being different feels isolating. When you're the kid who asks why too much, you get labeled annoying. When you question rules, you get labeled difficult. When you see flaws in systems, you get labeled negative. Over time, many high IQ individuals learn to hide parts of themselves. They simplify their thoughts. They pretend not to notice things. They laugh at jokes they don't find funny. And slowly, they start feeling invisible, or worse, disconnected from their own identity. The emotional intensity nobody sees. Another trait often linked with high intelligence is something called overexcitability. It means stronger reactions, emotionally and mentally. You don't just feel sad, you feel crushed. You don't just feel curious, you become obsessed. You don't just like an idea, you dive into it for 10 hours straight. That intensity can make life rich and creative. Many innovators, writers, and scientists had this trait. But it can also make everyday life overwhelming. Bright lights feel brighter, loud sounds feel louder, criticism feels heavier. It's like walking around without emotional skin. The key moment. It's not superiority, it's wiring. Here's the truth most people get wrong. Feeling different doesn't mean you're superior. It means your brain wiring is uncommon, and uncommon things naturally don't blend in easily. A Ferrari in traffic isn't better than every car, but it's built differently. It handles the road differently, and if you try to drive it like a regular car, you'll burn the engine. The goal isn't to shrink yourself, it's to understand your wiring. Conclusion. High IQ people often feel different because they process more, feel more, and question more. That leads to depth, but it also leads to isolation. The difference isn't a curse, and it's not a crown either. It's a responsibility to find environments that match your depth, to build friendships that value real conversations, and to stop apologizing for thinking deeply, because the world doesn't need you to be normal. It needs you to be understood.